Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is NXT. We are here at Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida for another big night of action. Tonight here on NXT we will determine who will be fighting Chris Sabin next week for Chris Sabin's NXT Championship. I don't know if I did that right there. To be honest, I think I just made a mockery of that. But yes, we will be finding out who will be fighting Chris Sabin for his NXT Championship next week in the main event here tonight when Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kazuchika Okada go at it. But right now we're kicking things off with Kurt Angle heading towards the ring. Angle, who hasn't been seen on NXT in a long time, if memory serves me correct. He has been kind of left to the side. You know, someone who definitely needs a revitalization of his career and has kind of been left there. Purely because, I don't know, I honestly don't know, the NXT committee maybe just don't want him in action, something along those lines, but he's in for, I think he's going to be having a solid matchup to start things off in NXT here, as he's going to go one-on-one with Shelton Benjamin, two incredibly gifted athletes, and two athletes who should be getting better, should be getting more out of their careers. So a win here for either guy hopefully will help them. It all depends on what the NXT committee decides is in the best interest for these guys. Right. As I try to not die, apparently, because that's what I'm doing right now. Here comes Shelton Benjamin towards the ring. Oh my god, he's got some sparks. Yes, I see that. Oh, there was some controversy. And now it's gone. And now he's just the gold standard. He's renamed himself. He's no longer Shelton Benjamin. My goodness, I don't know how he did this without consent, but this is an absolutely phenomenal feat that he's transitioned. Anyway, Benjamin, I mean, you know, we've always said this in a way about Shelton Benjamin. He is an incredible athlete, and he just cannot seem to find a win more often than not. That is just something that's happened for Shelton Benjamin. And we don't know if it's going to continue on here tonight, or if it's going to finally come to an end. Well, we'll find out for sure. But, in a way, it would be nice if it did actually come to an end, because he's given so much time to this universe, and he just hasn't had the rewards that he deserves. You know, he hasn't. I think he was back when the Cruiserweight Championship was brought back. I think he held the title. I don't even remember if he held the title. And all I know is he was a former tag team champion, and his win-loss record does not represent the talent that he produces. However, that is why he's here on NXT, though, in an attempt to restore his career. Nice work there by Shelton Benjamin, getting a quick count on Kurt Angle as we get things underway. Right, let's talk through the match card for tonight. What do we have in store for you after this? We are going to have a tag team matchup. It's going to be a bit of an interesting tag team matchup because of one team in it that is certainly a team that you wouldn't expect to be together, that being the team of Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander are going to team up to take on Christian and Edge after this. You would certainly give the advantage to Christian Edge in that one, because no offense to Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander, but Christian and Edge have teamed before. They know how they work. They're basically the best friends. So you would kind of give the advantage in that one, but you never know. This universe has been full of surprises before, and we could see Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander pick up a win. Then we're going to have kind of a best of the rest matchup between Rich Swann and Apollo Crews. Both men were involved in that little mini tournament set up by the NXT committee to determine who would fight Chris Sabin next. And of course they were defeated. Swann was defeated by Okada pretty easily. Crews had a tougher matchup against Stone Cold and was eventually defeated. And then for our main event, we are going to have I blanked there for a second. We're going to have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kazuchika Okada. It's going to be a huge matchup, a huge affair between those two guys. I'm looking very much forward to that one. And then, of course, the winner will fight Chris Sabin next week, a day before ECW's Barely Legal. Could we see a title change just before that pay-per-view? I'm not too sure. What I am hoping, no matter what next week, we have a clean match, a fair match, and there's no DCC involved. I know they've only done it once, but you never know with that group. Right now focusing back on the match, though. Benjamin and Angle having a bit of a back and forth here. Shelton Benjamin, I thought he might be going for a German suplex there, or some sort of reverse T-bone. He was in position to do so. Well, he's got a single leg lock here now on Kurt Angle. This is going to cause a little bit of pain. Trying to take some of... Oh, Never mind, I was going to say trying to take some of Angle's vertical base away from him, but Angle just booted him in the face to make sure that he would stay protected or something. I don't know. It's been mostly Benjamin in this matchup, I think. I'm not too sure. I don't know if my mind's blanking on that one or not, but Shelton Benjamin here going to go for a turnbuckle power bomb. Oh, there it is. Nice work there by Benjamin now as he looks to try and continue on the offense. Here comes the T-bone by Benjamin. Flips it over. T-bone suplex. Cover after it on Angle. Can he get the win? No, he can't. Angle's out at 2. Thought he might have been able to do enough there, but Kurt Angle still forces that shoulder up, and now he's the one with the counter. Can Angle get a return here? Can he get some offense on the go? No, he can do a zigzag though for some reason. Perhaps he's stating his allegiance in this whole corruption affair. I like it. Oh, Angle now looking for some sort of flurry of maneuvers. There was a forearm, a clothesline, and now basically he's done Edge's comeback. Oh my god, he's firing shots at everyone right now. Oh, here goes Angle though, doing some of the best German suplexes you'll ever see. 1, 2, and a third one for Shelton Benjamin. Down onto the mat there. The triple Germans, followed up by either the ankle lock or the angle slam. Incoming angle slam for Benjamin. Down he goes. Is this Kurt Angle's win? 1, 2, 3. It is. Kurt Angle came back there towards the end of that matchup and picks up the win with that angle slam. Unlucky for Shelton Benjamin, it has to be said. You know, once again, giving it his all, and he's just not getting the rewards that he deserves or the victories that he deserves for his actions. Is the win for Kurt Angle, who's looking a little bit weird, has to be said. Well, there we go with a win like that. Hopefully Kurt Angle's NXT career now can actually get a little bit better, and we can see him more often on this show. But we're going to move on now to our tag team matchup. Our weird tag team matchup affairs. Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander take on Edge and Christian. Alright, well, first out is on his way is Noam Dar. When was the last time we saw Mr. Dar? Don't remember, actually. I think it was about maybe 2 weeks ago, because I remember seeing him recently. I just don't remember who he took on, is the problem. But yeah, he has been around recently, I know that's for sure. Anyway, Noam Dar's going to head towards the ring here. He's looking like he's got that confidence in his eyes. I mean, you would need an air of confidence, I suppose, to get you through the idea of having to face Edge and Christian. I mean, these two guys, you know, both are former champions up on the main roster. Edge is a former 2-time world champion as well. On top of that, basically they've done it all except win tag team title. No, Christian's done it all except win a world title, and Edge has done it all except winning a tag team title. So there you go, that's what they've got going for them. But here comes Noam Dar right now. He's looking like he's got the mentality prepared to fight these guys. And I mean, obviously it's not going to be an easy affair. Certainly with Cedric Alexander as well, who we haven't seen for a little while, to be fair. He always seems to just crop up here and there, back of his head for a lot of the NXT roster right now. I think the problem is they just, I don't know, maybe they just have too much talent down here right now. Too much talent got sent down too quickly and they're just not too sure what to do with it. It is a pressing time for NXT, of course. They're still, you know, they're only 4 months into their iteration. Well, not even that, they're only about 3 months. So there's only so much they can do in that time with the roster they've got. You know, they still need, I think, time to develop and time to find out what they want to do with our roster. And maybe, of course, once they start getting house shows on the go, which is more than likely going to happen considering the growth of NXT right now, we could see more talent here on the show as well due to their performances off TV. Or off screen, I suppose you would say. But anyway, there's, you know, two of the guys hoping to be brought up, you know, through NXT's almost youth academy system, you know, the brightest bunch of future prospects, and here come the ones who have been sent down here. It's a battle of both sides. You've got the tale of the newer superstars that are going to make a name for themselves, and then you've got Edge and Christian, the older, more experienced athletes who are looking to reclaim their spotlight and get back up to that main roster. You can see why people like Christian, Edge, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, they have this chip on their back. They have this little target on them by the younger talents of NXT, like your Apollo Cruzes, your Noam Dars, your Rich Swanns. They want to beat them because they want to prove that they deserve to go back up to the main roster before these guys. They don't want these guys to be the talking point of NXT. They want it to be about the new talent, the fresh talent. So you can certainly see there's almost like a little bit of a split in NXT already. You've got basically on one side the experienced talent, the talent that wants to get back up into that limelight, and then you've got the young talent who wants to keep the old talent down here and take their spotlight and make a name for themselves with it. So it's certainly an interesting affair between the two teams, and this is kind of one of the first times we've had a proper example of it. And then of course on one side, and then of course on their own side as well, we have the DCC, who are just kind of watching everything going on and have the most prized possession in NXT right now on Chris Sabin's shoulder. Well, this is going to be an interesting affair, has to be said. Here comes Edge now, on his way to the ring. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what each team decides to do to combat one another, to see if, you know, maybe Edge, you know, maybe Edge and Christian take a slower approach towards taking out Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander due to the fact that they are quicker athletes, or if they try and match them pace for pace, or if they just ground them with a height advantage and weight advantage, something along those lines. But Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar kind of only have one route to go down, and that is athletic maneuvers, surprise power, and just speed it. They've basically got it. They are kind of one-dimensional in that aspect, and that is where Edge and Christian can have an advantage. They are three-dimensional in their own way when it comes to how they're going to beat Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander. But then again, if Noam Dar and Alexander get the win, that is going to be monumental for them, knocking off a former two-time world champion and a former Intercontinental and Tag Team champion in Christian. Well, here we go, the matchup's underway. It's Noam Dar starting things off against Christian. Those strikes now off the bat. Noam Dar's the one getting out of the blocks with a good start. Interesting to see here. I thought Christian might have had the upper hand from the beginning, but apparently not. Oh, right in the gut there for him. Kick in the back, but Christian shrugs that one off. Into a nice tilt-a-whirl DDT. It'll be interesting to see what this win means for them. I mean, you know, I've said NXT's growing popularity as it continues to attract more attention as the weeks have gone by since its first iteration of the show. So maybe NXT is now a time where we're going to see more championships. Maybe NXT wants to stop being that brand that everyone views as the developmental area and start becoming its own brand, its own namesake in a way. Looks as if they're trying to get a nice job there by Edge. Looks like maybe if they're trying to get a tag division on the go, maybe they can do the same with a with any other divisions that they may have in mind. I mean, they got enough cruiserweights to start their own, maybe, well, not a cruiserweight division, maybe a junior heavyweight division, something along those lines. Who knows what NXT has in mind heading forward. Maybe they're going to get some women from the women's tournament that, of course, is still on hold for, you know, medical reasons. But who knows? Maybe they've got something in mind there going forward. But meanwhile, we only have the present to focus on, and the present is Noam Dar spinning around Edge on his shoulders. That's very present, if you ask me. Up on his shoulder. Noam Dar's done a good job, to be fair, at the start of this matchup, and now he's going to know he's not going to make that tag into Cedric Alexander yet. Swipes the leg away of Edge. Looks like he does want to make that tag into Alexander, though, and he shall do. Big chance here for Cedric Alexander now against Edge. Oh! Had him up in that Tiger suplex and then turned into a face plant. Good chop here by Cedric Alexander. Spinning kick into the corner. And another tag made here. Back in comes Noam Dar now. Maybe this team's going to look for quick tags against Edge and Christian. And look to try and keep the more experienced and the tougher duo down. It could work out. Noam Dar going to send him back in the corner here, looking to make another tag. Edge, though, stuffs that with a giant big boot in the head. Noam Dar falls, but he's right back up to his feet, but he's also in Edge and Christian's corner. Tag made here. What will we see between these two men? Oh, clothesline and a spear there. Nasty business. And the WWE Tag Team Champions may be in contact with a move like that. Christian, you're going to be a bit risky and go up on their turnbuckle, and Cedric Alexander's not going to take that lightly. Even with a gentle punch, sends him back down. And look, Noam Dar still can't get up. He is retaliating there from that maneuver. Oh, Cedric Alexander sends him down again. Surely Noam Dar can get up by now. There we go. Finally. Took him a long time there. Might have been really unsettled there by that maneuver. In the corner, countered by Noam Dar. Countered by Christian. Back and forth between the two. Oh! Twisting neck breaker there. But once again, quickly reversed by Noam Dar. Who knows what he has in mind here. Up for a fisherman's suplex. Nice bridge after it. Looking for the win. Only a 2 count. Not enough there for Noam Dar to get the win for his team. Looks like he might go back though to getting Cedric Alexander in this matchup, and it seems so. Simple but effective tag team maneuver between the two. Not exactly the move you'd expect from two cruiserweights, but maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe they're going for a bit of a surprise element. Christian pulls off the reversal. Neck breaker there by Captain Charisma. Christian was looking for something, had something in mind in. Cedric Alexander stuffed it. And is now going to give him maybe a suplex for his trouble. Down in the middle of the ring. Cedric now going to hit up the top rope. What can we see here from this man? This young man. Oh, double foot stomp. Make sure that one demon doesn't spot you doing that. Up on his shoulders. No, wait. Oh, nice move by Cedric Alexander. Planted him down there after that fireman's carry position. Hoping for the win here. It's not broken up, and it is a 3 count. Wow. It is enough for them to get the win. Alexander and Dar controlled that matchup, it has to be said. And brought that one to an end rather quickly. What a win that is. And not only in the fact that they just barely pulled it off, they were in control, to be fair, for the majority of that matchup. What a good, strong result for the team of Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander. Who knows, this partnership that we see here, it could be stronger heading forward. We could have a strong team in our hands heading into the next few weeks, depending on what NXT decides to do with the division that involves tag teams. Maybe we'll see it in the go. But there we go. Big win there for the two, and now we're going to move on to our next matchup, Rich Swann versus Apollo Crews. Oh, mama, can you handle this? Are you ready for this? One of NXT's hottest growing talents, and one of NXT's also most over. The crowd love this guy. They love his theme, they love his enthusiasm, they love the way he comes down to the ring, and on top of that, they also love the way in which he wrestles. Rich Swann is getting it all here in NXT, and if he keeps up this momentum, we could have a future NXT champion on our hands. You never know. Here comes this is an example of NXT showing its newest stars to the people, to the public, really, to the fans. You know, this is the new era of NXT. You know, this is the new era of superstars. They believe that this could be two of their finest prospects. But when they make it up to the main roster, people will be saying they came from NXT. Rich Swann and Apollo Crews, and to be fair, both guys have got it going for them. You know, Rich Swann has this charisma to him, this beloved entrance, and then he's got this, you know, this phenomenal cruiserweight wrestling mindset to him. And then you got Apollo Crews, who is just kind of in a way an all-around incredible athlete. He has got it all going for him, and it was unfortunate that neither one of these two guys could get the win last week, but maybe that's where the inexperience came into play over Okada and Stone Cold Steve Austin. But here tonight on NXT, these two guys are going to look to make a name for themselves and prove what NXT is all about when it comes to promoting the young talent. Once again, you know, both these guys, beloved by the fans, looking to make a name for themselves. I can expect you a strong matchup between the two. And I can also expect a, you know, a matchup where both players show respect for one another as well. I'm not expecting, you know, eye rakes, low blows, you know, anything along those lines, cheating to use an advantage, anything like that. This is going to, I mean, certainly not with Apollo Crews as well. He is an athlete who is very by the books. Probably on top of that is Rich Swann as well, but you know, Rich Swann likes to take more death-defying adventures to that top rope over Apollo Crews. But what Apollo Crews doesn't have in top rope ability, he makes up for in pure strength, as we've seen with that back suplex into that sit-out powerbomb and the gorilla press that eventually gets folded up into a moonsault. It's incredible seeing Apollo Crews mix strength and athleticism together. And that is why I believe at some point in the future, I think Apollo Crews will be NXT champion. I think he's got enough to pull that off. And look at that. That's one move to kick off the match right off the bat. A Hurricanrana by Rich Swann. For all I know, we could have two future NXT champions on the way here with these two guys. If they talent keeps on being developed and they just become better athletes and better at everything they can possess and better at everything they can do as the time goes on. Rich Swann right now, though, he had a good start with that Hurricanrana, but it's been Apollo Crews since then. Still really early stages of this matchup, though. It's like a feeling out process where both guys learn a bit about each other. What we are learning about Rich Swann right now, though, is that he likes to spend a lot of time on the ground, apparently, because Apollo Crews is just having his way with him. Went after that arm for whatever reason. Not too sure what Apollo Crews' obsession with that is. You know, that's not going to be where the majority of Rich Swann's offense is going to come from. You know, he's not a powerhouse. Spins him around here for something. All right, look. Oh, there's another Hurricanrana. No, look at the strength of Apollo Crews. What a counter by the young man of that power bomb. That is a phenomenal power there by Apollo Crews. And now he looks to go after the legs of Rich Swann. Smart idea there. Take away the legs, take away any attempt at running, really. Trying to take away any attempt at going to that top rope. So this is how, you know, this is how we're seeing Apollo Crews wrestle right now. He's doing the smart thing. He's trying to keep Rich Swann on the ground. Nice Hurricanrana counter there by Rich Swann, but yeah, he's trying to keep him on the ground because the longer he stays down on the mat, the less he's running around the ring and flying about everywhere. So the easier it is for him to control if he keeps him on the ground, maybe even in a corner like this. No, there's a big boot by Swann and a drop kick to the back to follow up. Look at how much space there Swann was able to get. Crews almost going across the ring there, allowing some breathing room for Rich Swann. Probably the best idea. Oh, look at the strength though of Swann there to slam him down. What else can we expect to see from Rich Swann? I don't know right now, though, because Crews sends him back down to the mat. Kick in the chest for good measure. Apollo Crews looks to go back to the corner, trying to hope for a little bit more success at this time around. He's putting him up on a top rope here. This could be dangerous if it backfires, because you've got Rich Swann up on the top turnbuckle. Who knows what he could do? It's going to be a superplex. Down onto the floor for both men. Crews fighting through it and getting up to his feet. Going to go for the first pin of this matchup here on Swann. There's 1, 2. No, barely even a 2 count on Rich Swann. Wrenching on the neck now is Apollo Crews, looking to weigh down Rich Swann, but Swann once again continuing to fight back here. What are we going to see now from Rich Swann? He has him in this position and flips it over like a flip power bomb. Doesn't go for the pin after. It was in a strong position to go for for the pin if he wanted to, but perhaps feels as if he's still got a lot of work to do on Apollo Crews before he's ready for that. Nice neck breaker there. Keeping Crews down on the mat for a little longer. Might see Rich Swann take flight here. Oh, it's a springboard frog splash. Cover after it. First pin by Swann, and he's only able to manage a 1 count. Went for that drop kick, and he misses. Apollo Crews now. There's the strength and power of this young man with that overhead belly to belly. Look at this now. First submission of the match as well. Here we go. Wrenching in, and obviously not going to be enough. I don't think Crews is well versed in submission experience well enough to know how to finish off a match with a submission maneuver. This is going to be a spill on the outside though. Sunset flip power bomb by Rich Swann onto the outside. Big tumble for Apollo Crews. He had a bit of a shaky start, but now Rich Swann is starting to get back into this one. Hurricanrana on the outside. That could have been dangerous there. And Swann returns to the ring now. Swann's going to take it up to the top rope. This is going to be high risk for Rich Swann. 4! Corkscrew sent on. Down onto Apollo Crews. And now a leg drop. He is keeping Crews down on the mat right now. Crews, though, springs back up to his feet, but gets knocked back down with a drop kick. I think the count's up onto 4 now, as Swann continues to be in control on the outside. There's a counter by Crews. Hopefully these two men return to the ring now. Count of 6. Look, oh my God, look at the strength. Look at the raw power of Apollo Crews there on that deadlift German suplex. Crews can get him back in the ring. I think that would be very nice. And he is going to do just that. Very respectful by Crews there. Not wanting this matchup to end through a dodgy count-out decision or anything along those lines. Standing shooting star press by Crews. Cover after it. Can he knock off Swann with it? 1, 2. No, Swann fights. And Swann stays in it. Obviously, Rich Swann is going to be looking to have a better performance in this match, which he has managed, compared to last week where he was easily defeated by Okada. But he might have another loss on his hands, thanks to Apollo Crews. No, Swann stuffing it. And look at that now by Rich Swann. What a flip. I don't even know what to call it. It was like a flip slam type thing. Well, obviously, he flipped him and then he slammed him. Duh. Going to work on the leg now, trying to take away the bulk of power. Apollo Crews, and Rich Swann's going to hit up the top rope again. We just saw that corkscrew sent on. What will we see this time round? We're going to see a Phoenix Splash by Rich Swann. Cover after it. 1, 2, 3. What a win for Rich Swann. What a way to bounce back from last week's disappointing loss to Okada. Huge, huge win for the young man over Apollo Crews. Fair play to Rich Swann, but there really gave it his all. And, you know, in a way, when you thought he was going to lose it, maybe, out came that incredible Phoenix Splash. Takes such skill to execute a move like that, and Rich Swann is perhaps one of the best at doing it. What a win there for Rich Swann. NXT's new talents, their future prospects, proving how they are, how they are where they are, how they're doing so well on this brand by putting on a match like that. Quick but back and forth, and both men showcasing their true abilities. Great match there. I really enjoyed that one, and Rich Swann might be finding himself closer and closer to that #1 contendership now, after beating who was docked heading into that mini tournament as the #2 contender. Big win. But now we're going to move on to our main event. It is time to find out who will be fighting Chris Sabin next week for the NXT Championship. Will it be Stone Cold Steve Austin, or will it be Kazuchika Okada? Who would have ever expected this man to wind up in this position? Okada, who was treated as a joke back up on the main roster, who we believed would never account to something, who we thought in a way was just a fluke in Japan, and could accomplish nothing, has been brought back to life in a way. NXT has saved Okada. And look at the great work that is done for him, as tonight Okada could become #1 contender for the NXT Championship and could find himself on his way to being the face of NXT. You know, if my co-commentator was you, he'd be like, oh, that's ridiculous. Okada sucks. But he's just a dickhead and full of corruption. So, you know what, you don't listen to him, you listen to the one of fairness and giving an opportunity to everyone, and that's exactly what I gave to Okada. You know, we all took the piss out of him when he came down to NXT, but as time went on, I realized the talents of Okada, and I realized here that now Okada is getting better and better and better, and if he doesn't do it tonight, sooner or later, Okada is going to get that chance at the NXT Championship. And if Okada wins the championship, he'll be proving doubters wrong. all the people who are saying Okada's nothing, Okada's worthless, why is he still in this universe? If he wins the NXT Championship at some point, he's going to prove them all wrong. And he could do that next week. All he's got to do, though, is beat Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is easier said than done, because since he's arrived in NXT, Austin's been on a tear through the division, and looks as if he wants to stop at nothing until he beats Apollo Crews now, until he beats Chris Sabin, wins the NXT Championship, and then probably gives it to someone else and hightails up to the main roster. Because let's be honest, as you know, as great as Stone Cold is, and as much as the NXT crowd loves him, this is not what Austin wants to be. He wants to be beating people up on the main roster, not beating people up in NXT. Maybe he wants to stay in NXT, beat everyone up, and then move on to the main roster and then try and beat everyone up. Because this Stone Cold Steve Austin is the Stone Cold Steve Austin we're used to. This is the old Austin, the Austin that won a world title, the Austin that didn't give a shit what you thought about him, because he was just going to beat you up no matter who you were, no matter what your position was in this universe, whether you were one of the deputy, whether you were one of the board of directors or whether you were just a janitor. He was going to beat you up. And that's the Stone Cold Steve Austin we have in store for us now, and that's the, hopefully that Austin can bring this momentum back to the main roster whenever he's brought up. I can't imagine it being too much longer until Stone Cold Steve Austin is no longer a member of NXT's roster. Although who knows, we'll see what's going to happen regarding that. But right now we've got a main event here to deal with. Okada against Stone Cold Steve Austin, two polar opposites when it comes to their wrestling styles. Okada, yes, he can rely on his on his pure strength and his brawling aspect, but he has that phenomenal grappling ability to him. The amount of suplexes we've seen him do is incredible. But then we got Austin, who is just raw power, beat you up, hit you with a stunner, go back and go home, drink some beers. So that is the vast difference we have between these two men right now, and we'll see which style works better. Look at that spine buster there. Looks as if Austin was trying to initiate some sort of whiplash effect on it. Knee in the gut. It's Austin in control off the start here on Okada. Oh, stunner! And Austin flipping the bird there to flick things off. Yeah, to kick things off. Wow, I'm having autism on commentary right now. Okada back in the ring there. He's trying to fight back against Austin here. He's off to a bit of a slower start, but then again, Austin's, like I said, he's been on a tear. This is Austin in one of the best forms of his career right now. So it's difficult to stop the man. And maybe it might be difficult for Chris Sabin to stop him next week if Austin is to meet the NXT champion. Incoming another power bomb for Okada, smacking his back there down onto that mat. Look at this. Once Austin gets those strikes going, it's difficult for Okada to try and fight back. Simple slam down on the mat there, but look at how much Okada's just struggling here. I don't think this is, on the part of Okada. I think this is just how scary and how dominant Stone Cold Steve Austin has become at this point. And now maybe he's become more than, he's become beyond NXT at this point. Maybe he is ready for that main roster. Maybe one of the brands needs to put a contract on the table and try and get him on their show. Nice drop kick to the back there by Okada as he looks to try and fight back now. Imagine from the amount of strikes delivered on him, courtesy of Austin, Okada's mindset might be dazed. He might be a little bit confused. But Okada's going to go to the top rope here. Not every day we see this from Okada. Beautiful elbow drop, though. Got great height on it. And another elbow drop by Okada. Trying to keep this offense going here. Trying to keep Austin on the ground. But Austin knew where he was in the ring and tries to get back up to his feet. Oh my god, there's Bears! Austin! Look at that, just leapt out of nowhere with that Luthez press. Stone Cold Steve Austin on a flurry here. Stunner! Stone Cold Stunner within moments. No, but Okada there doesn't want the pin to happen. Within moments, we went from a little bit of a slow aspect from Okada to a Luthez press, a stunner, and now back to Okada in control. First pin of the match there. And he only gets him a 1 count. No surprise. Wow, that match could have been over in seconds there. If somehow Okada hadn't been able to kick off Austin and try and keep his hopes of winning alive. Okada really needs something now to get him to fight back. He really needs to try and maybe hit that Rainmaker as soon as possible. Anything to get that win here. Because now, Austin, especially after that Stone Cold Stunner, is in vast control of this matchup. May not seem like it right now, but you know that he is. Look how quickly and easily Austin was able to counter that into a back body drop. Made it look like he didn't even have to try for that one. Good counter though by Okada. Great to see him still fighting back. Tilt-a-whirl neck breaker. Nails it. That's the thing. If he goes for the more complex technical moves, it's going to be difficult for Austin to fight back against them. To be fair, Austin doesn't really know how to counter a lot of technical moves. He just knows how to beat people up and how to hope to not get hit with said moves. Wouldn't have expected a double axe handle there from the former world champion, but that's what he decided was for the best. Clothesline there. Down on the mat goes Okada. What is Austin looking for now? Who knows with Stone Cold? Uh-oh, he's going to go off the ropes. Fingers up in the air. Elbow into the chest. Stone Cold Steve Austin going to follow it up with another one. Stone Cold Stunner for Okada. Man, Okada tried, but if this is the Stone Cold Steve Austin that Saban's going to get next week, I wish him the very best of luck. There's the 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin with a dominant performance. We may be looking at our new NXT champion, and with a performance like that, it is beyond difficult to argue against it. Next week may be Stone Cold's night, and NXT may become Stone Cold's brand if he's able to defeat talent as easy as he was able to there. Then again, though, we said the same story about The Undertaker. Undertaker was able to walk through talent, basically, to get that opportunity before losing to Chris Sabin. Will it be the same story for Austin, or will Austin just be way too much for Chris Sabin to handle? Will he be defeated, and will the DCC be crumbling at the hands of Stone Cold? Well, that's what we're going to find out, aren't we? We're going to be paying close attention to that match next week for the NXT Championship. Be sure to tune into that NXT the night before Barely Legal to find out who's walking out with the NXT Championship. That could be a big match. Could also be a great one. That's going to end this episode of NXT, though. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, guys, and ta-ra.